Hi, I'm Ophelia Flores, and I'm a survivor of familial trafficking. I moved around a lot. My parents were together until I was about 5, I believe, and then they divorced. And when they divorced, I was moved back and forth, and my dad's girlfriend didn't like me, and my mom's boyfriend didn't like me. So at that point, it was just, you're a little kid, and like, which poison do you want to drink? You want to go over here, and you want to go over there. And so I moved around a lot, and there was a lot of abuse. There was a lot of violence, there was a lot of drugs, there was a lot of alcohol. You name it, we got it in our family. When I think I was an early teen, I started drinking and smoking weed and running away. And the police would come, and I was labeled an out-of-control teenager. So I didn't get any help, and I had to always return back to my mom's house where I didn't want to be. And I had a lot of older sisters, so that's where I was running away too. So I had a sister that said that, she would take me, that she wanted me, that I could stay with her. And at first it was great. She looked at me when she talked to me. She showed me how to cook. She showed me how to do makeup. I had a connection with her. I had a connection I had with my sister that I didn't have with my mom, that I didn't actually have with anybody. And so I looked at her up, I looked up to her like she was my mom. I was in high school. I wasn't a great student, but I did enjoy high school. I played powder puff football. I joined some after school activities. And all that stopped when I lived with my sister, and she started using heroin, and things changed. She introduced me to it, and she changed after that. She wasn't the same. I was watching the kids, and she was going out hustling. That's what they call it, hustling, and that could be an umbrella of many different things: stealing, robbing. And she told me one day that that I had to help, and I had to help hustle. And I didn't know what that meant. I just thought, you take off, you walk around, and you look for somebody to steal from or whatever. So she had a friend with her, a fellow heroin addict, and she took me to a guy that she dated. It was an old man. They were mostly all old men. And my sister went in the room with him, and she came back really fast, and she said, "See, easy money. You can, next time you." And I was scared to death, but I love my sister, and we needed heroin, or else we would get very, very sick. And I was just like, okay. And she was like, "Don't worry, it's very easy. Very easy." And she basically walked me through it. And so the next time I did it, and that house was literally 3 houses down from my dad's house. I was 16. This went on for almost 2 years, but in those 2 years I was incarcerated twice. I was on probation for fighting, and so they drug tested me, and they found heroin. And it seems like they didn't bat an eye. And I did my time, and I got out and was placed back with my mom. Because my mom, legally I was supposed to be with my mom. I met this man who was married and had children, and my family knew about him. He had a vehicle, and he was also a fellow heroin addict, and he was my second trafficker. I say trafficking myself, but he probably seen me coming a mile away. I was stuck, and I hated it, and I didn't want to keep doing it, and I didn't know how to get off of it. I had tried. I had got fellow heroin addicts advice on how to stop, do less, and nothing worked. Nothing worked. So I was sitting in that dark room at my sister's house one day, and I was crying because I couldn't stop. And I had a bunch of heroin, so I did all the heroin because I decided that I was going to walk into the sheriff's department and just tell. I walked into the sheriff's department and I told, and they got me right away, and they took me to a room where they interviewed me. And then after I gave my statement, they told me to put my hands behind my back. I was under arrest because I was under the influence of heroin. But I felt at that moment, I was like, I don't care, whatever it takes. Get me out of here. So my sister got time, and it came out in the paper, and it came out in a lot of papers. But in the article, it says that I had recanted. And it only says that because we tried, at the last trial, we tried to recant because my dad said so. When I was in juvenile hall, my dad had came and said, tell them you lied. Tell them you lied so she can get out. Tell them you lied. He didn't say, are you okay? Hey, he didn't ask any of that. He just said, tell them you lied. I'm like, okay, Daddy. That was the death of my son. So I had a realization as I was grieving it that wasn't my fault, because I had carried it for almost 40 years, that it was my fault. Because I didn't have anybody tell me different. It was hush, be quiet. So I carried it for a long time. I actually thought that was my fault. I actually thought that my sister going to prison was my fault. That anybody she hurt was my fault. And, you know, when you're a kid, you're self-centered, you're egocentric, you know. And I didn't have a very healthy family. And I could literally only run to the sheriff's department to get out of it. And I'm really grateful that I did that. Well, I don't want to be quiet anymore. I have always had a voice. I just never knew how to use it. I'm not gonna shut up now. I'm going to tell anybody who wants to hear about my story. I have been to juvenile hall. God put it on my heart, you know, juvenile hall, and I felt it because I was there at juvenile hall many, many times, and nobody came. In juvenile hall, actually, one of the kids asked me, they call you Miss. Miss, why do you come here? Why do you come here? You have a job, right? Yeah. A family? Yeah. Why do you come over here with us? I said, because I was you guys and nobody came. So I'm coming and I'm gonna show you guys love. And I would bring them treats and drinks, approved by the staff, of course. And I said, so I'm gonna love on you a little bit, and I'm gonna show you that there is hope. You don't have to hit the streets once you're 18. There's programs and resources now, way more than I had. Use it because you can get a job. You can be happy. You can have joy. You know, you can have a family if you want it. You can have whatever you want once you decide you want it.